Matt Carpenter will step in. He is one of 4 Cardinal All-Stars. Molina, who now will not be able to play in the game, obviously. Adam Wainwright. And Pat Neshek, the surprise find out of their bullpen. Carpenter's hitting .286. And the first pitch is a called strike. Mark Carlson is the plate umpire. Scott Barry at first. The crew chief Jeff Nelson at second. And Laz Diaz at third. Gallardo's 0-1 pitch is a bit inside. Carpenter is one of several Cardinals who have punished Gallardo. He's 5 for 15 against him. 4 of the 5 hits doubles. And a high fly ball skied into left center. The Gold Glover Carlos Gomez takes it. Gomez is headed for Minnesota in the All-Star game. 3 of his 4 home runs have come in the last week. I mentioned that the Cardinals have not been getting timely hitting, generally speaking, but they did get walk-off home runs in the series just completed against the Pirates from both Matt Adams and this guy, Colton Wong. Cardinals won 3 out of 4 from the Pirates, while the Brewers were being swept 4 straight by the last place Philadelphia Phillies, last place in the East. So the Cards have moved to within 2. Check swing foul, 1-2. Matt Holliday is on deck. Beautiful July night in Milwaukee. Temperature 72 degrees at game time. The roof is open. And Gallardo back to work, 1-2. Hits softly back to the mound, and he gloves it. As a team, the Cardinals' present pace would leave them under 100 home runs for the year. Holliday, usually a 20-plus guy, has only 5 at this point of the season. Lined into left center field toward the gap, and it will split the outfielders and one hop the wall. Gomez chases it down, and it's a 2-out double for Matt Holliday. A bouncing ball, fair ball, Overbay to the bag himself, and that'll do it. So a 2-out double by Holliday, but he's stranded at second after half an inning in Milwaukee. And he's missed more than 2 months as a result. This is his first appearance off the disabled list. And his first pitch to Carlos Gomez. Gomez is not the kind of leadoff hitter who's looking for a walk. He's already struck out 83 times and walked only 26. He comes up hacking. Other than the strikeout to walk ratio, all of his numbers are outstanding. Power, speed, and a Gold Glove in center. And that hit him. Boos from the crowd, but if anything could be more obvious than the fact that that was unintentional, I don't know what it would be. Gomez, as you may know, has been known to have a short fuse. Charitable interpretation is that he plays with passion. Others might say he needs to get over it, but he has been suspended 3 games last year and 1 game this after run-ins with the Braves and the Pirates. In this case, he glared briefly at Kelly, but realized that it was unintentional. And he continues to stare him down. This is not atypical for Gomez. Let's see if he tries to make Kelly pay by taking off. He's stolen 15 bases. He's been caught 3 times. Scooter Gennett slices one to left. It'll drop for a base hit. Holliday will get it back in, and the Brewers have 2 on with nobody out. Garth Orge, the first base coach, talking to Jeanette. Ed Cedar is the coach at third for the Brewers. So a bumpy beginning for Joe Kelly. And he doesn't have Yadier Molina as his security blanket behind the plate. Here's Lucroy at .323 with 9 home runs. Fastball for a strike. When he's right, Kelly has flirted with triple digits on the radar gun. A year ago, he went 10-5 with an ERA under 3. And he was off to a good start this year, as we noted, until the hamstring injury. That last pitch registered 96. When you think about the Cardinals starting pitching, Adam Wainwright remains pretty close to the gold standard. Lance Lynn is having a good year. But Michael Wacha is on the disabled list. They're not sure when he'll be back. Shelby Miller has been hit hard of late. Nothing like how effective he was a year ago. Jaime Garcia is again done for the year with another injury. He has an extensive injury history. So Mike Matheny has a pitching staff in flux. The runners go. They throw to second. They get nobody. A double steal. And you can tell that Gomez is still fuming. He swipes third on the front end of the double steal. And he's trying like crazy to make eye contact with Joe Kelly, who's not obliging him. Gomez dove in, but cruised through to second. And Jeanette beat that by plenty. Cruz is able to block that one. It's a small sample, but in Cruz's first game following Molina's injury on Wednesday, that's when Yadi was hurt against the Pirates. Then yesterday against the Pirates, Andrew McCutchen stole 2 bases with Cruz back at the plate, and Cruz was also charged with a pass ball. Adams is way off the bag, almost in what you'd call a shallow second base position at first. Obviously, the Cardinals will concede the run, the infield back, with the exception of Adams. Gomez was hit by a pitch. Jeanette singled to left, then a double steal, and Kelly in early trouble. Still 2-2 to Lucroy with Ramirez on deck. Joe Kelly trying to settle down here. He's 26 years old, from Anaheim, California. Went to Cal Riverside. 6'1" and a lean 175. Gomez inching away from third. Jeanette, a sizable lead at second. And another 2-2 pitch from Kelly to Lucroy. Full count. Neither of these teams has been scoring runs in bunches of late. Brewers with a chance to do something here in their half of the first. And Lucroy just pokes that one foul and hangs in. And another foul ball. You know, the way Yadier Molina has been known to run a game, not only does he calm pitchers down, not only does he know every hitter in the league, but he does aggressive and unconventional things. He's been known to call for changeups on 4 or 5 consecutive pitches. And his manager, his pitching coach, the entire pitching staff trust his baseball judgment. Matheny, as a former catcher, truly appreciates him. La Russa virtually worshipped him. Spoke about him in reverent tones. And the Cardinals are now without him for the better part of what remains of this season. And Lucroy, on the full count pitch, finally waits Kelly out for the walk. So a hit batter, a single, and a walk, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Cruz held it there, but there was no way he was getting that call from Mark Carlson. A 10-pitch at bat ends with Lucroy earning the walk. Here's Ramirez, who's at .282 with 11 home runs. Fouled away. Ramirez is 36, played only 92 games last year when he was bothered by a bad knee, but he's bounced back to make the All-Star team for the 3rd time in his career. Some of this stuff can sneak up on you. He's 36 years old. He's got a crack at 400 lifetime home runs. He's at 365 right now. This ball is hit solidly to center, but right at John Jay. Gomez tags. Jay's throw will go to third, and the Brewers grab the early lead. Kelly trying to wriggle out of a first-inning jam and minimize the damage. His 1-2 pitch to Braun. Bounce to Adams. He juggles it, but recovers and steps on the bag. The runners move up. Second and third now with 2 out. Only Bob Uecker is a longer-standing fixture here than Bernie Brewer. Although I imagine there have been different people who have played the role of Bernie Brewer. And there is only one Mr. Baseball. If you're just joining us, he will join us. There he is, handling his radio duties.
Leans in, new sign for him.
He will join us for the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, and maybe beyond if he feels like it.
To work. Here it is.
That took a bite out of Davis as the count holds at 3-2. And as Davis walks it off, Cruz walks out to the mound to talk with Kelly. 26 pitches already for Joe Kelly. I'm talking to the guys in the truck. You want to let Uecker call the rest of this inning? Let's just tap into Uecker. Go ahead.
Along with Colton Wong. 3-2. Hits are even 1 apiece here in the opening inning.
Uecker not
now
realizing he's on camera.
Here he comes. Chris Davis sends it to left center and deep. Hey, get up! Get out of here! It's off the wall! 2 runs are going to score on a 2-run double by Chris Davis. And the Brewers up their lead to 3-0. Joe Kelly left that one up and out over the middle, and Davis hit it off the wall in deep left center. That one almost went out of here.
Well, we almost got to hear Uecker's signature home run call. Get up, get out of here, and gone. But it missed by a foot or two, hit high off the wall, drove home 2 more. Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, briefly to the mound. And now trotting back to the Cardinal dugout. A very, very shaky return to action for Joe Kelly. And now here's Overbeck. Well-traveled 37-year-old veteran. He's been with 6 different teams, although 8 total stops because he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks twice, and this is his second go-around with the Brewers. When he was closer to the prime of his career with Milwaukee in 2004, he hit .301 with 16 homers and 53 doubles. Kelly has little to no command in this first inning. The second baseman Colton Wong is several steps onto the outfield grass and right. Get up, get up, get out of here, and almost gone for Chris Davis a moment ago. The 30th pitch misses. Glum expressions for both Lilliquist and Matheny. And on 4 pitches, he walks Overbay. They're loaded for Gene Segura. He's walked 2. He's hit a man. He's given up a single, a sacrifice fly, and a ringing double. Down 3 runs, stuck with 3 men on base, and Gene Segura to the plate. An all-star a year ago. He's plummeted, as you see, to just .232 this year. In fact, shortly after the All-Star game in 2013, he became an entirely different player. Second half of last year, first half of this comprises the equivalent of a full season, and he's been a .230 hitter in that stretch. He covers a lot of ground at short and has a very strong arm, but some of the Brewer folks think he's taking his troubles at the plate out onto the field with him as well, because he's committed 11 errors already at shortstop. He smacks this one solidly to center, but Jay has it lined up. Beautiful night at Miller Park, and a beautiful start from the perspective of the home fans. Giovanni Gallardo has been staked to a 3-0 lead as he faces Johnny Peralta in the top of the second. Peralta is the Cardinals' leading home run hitter with 13. As we mentioned, Gallardo has had an awful time against the Cardinals. 1-12 lifetime if you count a defeat in the NLCS 3 years ago. He's got a chance to turn that around tonight. A 3-0 lead, and his counterpart Joe Kelly is truly struggling. Threw him something off speed on the last one. Let's see what he comes back with here. Down low, 1-2. Peralta will be followed by Alan Craig and John Jay in the Cardinal second. Two and two. Not so much a shift as some shading, but significant shading. If Peralta could just poke one toward first base, he'd have himself a base hit, because Overbay is halfway between first and second, and Jeanette is almost behind the bag at second base. These are not base hits necessarily. They're all balls put into play by Johnny Peralta. So as you see, he is not a dead pull hitter. The 3-2. Got him. First strikeout for Gallardo. Dropped to 6th for the time being in Mike Matheny's order. Roller, third base side. Ramirez gets him easily. Bouncing ball to second. Jeanette charges, flips, and gets him. The Brewers broke from the gate at 20-7, but they've given a lot of it back, and now the Cardinals, if they can come back tonight, could move to within 1. But it's 3-0 Brewers at this point. This is the MLB Network Showcase presented by Chevrolet. You know Bob Uecker for so many reasons. The movies, the Major League movies, the appearances with Johnny Carson, the Mr. Belvedere sitcom, all the years as the radio voice of the Brewers, network games on ABC and NBC. But perhaps some of you remember him best for this.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row. Good seats, hey, buddy. He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
Well, he may have missed the tag, but Gallardo, who is a good hitting pitcher, did not miss that one from Joe Kelly. And Kelly's woes continue into the second. Back up through the middle and by the dive of Colton Wong and into center field. Consecutive singles to start the second. The 3-2 to Jeanette. It's a fair ball, and by the diving Adams, it'll roll into the corner. Gomez is trucking around third. Gallardo has already scored. Jeanette wants a triple. 2 runs are home, and he pulls up at third with a stand-up 3-bagger. Wasn't a bad pitch. Down and in. Jeanette went and got it. Adams had him played well off the line. Couldn't get back with the dive. The ball was hit sharply enough to carry all the way into the corner before it was chased down by Alan Craig. And Jeanette, running like crazy out of the box, was thinking triple all the way. Gallardo and Gomez scored. And Jeanette's hit makes it 5-0. A strike at the knees to Lucroy. Well, as you see, Kelly's track record has been good. He and his manager hoping he's just getting this one out of his system, and the real Joe Kelly returns sooner rather than later. Down 5-0, the Cardinals pull the infield in. The Cardinals have not been the offensive machine that they were a year ago along the way to the National League pennant. In fact, the largest deficit from which they have come back to win so far this year is 4 runs. They're already down 5-0. Lucroy with a high pop into shallow right. Craig is coming in. He'll make the catch. Jeanette bluffs, but doesn't come home. Kelly from the belt and to the plate. Got the outside corner. Brewers, who have lost 9 of 10, trying to snap out of it. And so far, Kelly is obliging them. Another good stop by Tony Cruz. One of the things players say about Mike Matheny, the Cardinal manager, who had never managed at any level when he got the job in 2012, but so universally respected around baseball and a solid endorsement from his predecessor, Tony La Russa. His presence is so respected by everyone in that clubhouse, and he thinks not just about the strategy of a particular game, but about the confidence level of each of his players. A swing and a miss, and Kelly gets a strikeout when he needs it. So after Jeanette's triple, he was at third with nobody out. Lucroy flied out. Ramirez strikes out. First strikeout for Kelly. And now he'll have to finish off Braun to get out of it. Line drive toward the gap in right center field. That'll plate Jeanette. Braun will have at least a double. It's chased down by Craig. Braun wheels around second, and it's the second triple of the inning. So just when it looked as if Kelly could get out of it, certainly not in good shape, but without being punished any further, Braun takes him the opposite way into the gap in right center. There's the comparison. Those are his average seasons up until the time that he was suspended for PED use, and that finished his 2013 season after just 61 games played. So counting the 61 last year and the games to this point of this season, it's still good, but it's not what it once was. RBI triple here gives him exactly 50 runs driven home for the season. Scott Barry at first said that Chris Davis went around 0-1. 2 singles and 2 triples in the inning for the Brewers. Three in the first, 3 here in the second. Nick Greenwood goes to work. A ball and 2 strikes. Before the hamstring injury, Joe Kelly had allowed 1 run in 15 innings of work in his first 3 starts in April. He's allowed 6 earned runs through an inning and 2/3 here. And Kelly's 2-2 pitch. 3-2. He will throw at least 65 pitches to get through 2 innings. And that's if the next one is the last one. Hit hard but foul. Chopped back over Kelly's head. Wong fields it. Quick throw to Adams. That takes care of Davis.
Obviously, it's a locker room celebration.
No, this is actually a picture of me getting ready for a game.
Mr. Baseball in one of his roughly 100 appearances with Johnny Carson. The king of late night really loved Mr. Baseball. How about those fashions? Mutton chops, high turtleneck, very spiffy. Gallardo now has a 6-0 lead. And for those of you who just tuned in, Bob Uecker will move over from the Brewer radio booth and join us in the 4th inning and stay as long as he wants. Joe Kelly, who's a pretty good hitting pitcher, is in fact in the on-deck circle. So it appears that he will bat here. Quickly 0-2 to Tony Cruz, who's hitting .241 without a homer. This is his 55th at-bat of the season. When you back up Yadier Molina, you don't play all that much. A, because Yadi is so terrific, and B, because he's also, at least prior to this injury this week, he's also been an Iron Man. Gallardo has struck out 1. He hasn't walked anybody. He's allowed 1 hit, a 2-out double to Holiday in the first. Tomorrow, the Cardinals will send their ace, Adam Wainwright, to the mound in an afternoon game here. And he'll be opposed by Jimmy Nelson, who was tearing it up at AAA, and they brought him up and he will draw the start against Wainwright tomorrow. Ramirez is up with it across the diamond to retire Cruz. So here comes Kelly, who's had, as you see, just 6 at-bats with 1 hit. But he's a very good athlete. The kind of guy who in a marathon game, if you run out of bench players, he's the pitcher you'd call upon, perhaps to pinch hit or pinch run. And Matheny apparently determined to get him some innings here. See if he can take something positive away from this outing. This is going to be beyond, not actually beyond the reach, but unplayable for Braun. So Kelly has done better as a hitter than as a pitcher tonight. That's got to be scored a hit. It's a 1-out single. Braun had a crack at it, hit softly into right, tried to backhand it with the dive, and it actually hit the heel of his glove. He was there in time and just couldn't quite squeeze it. Both pitchers have hits in this game. The difference is Gallardo has consistently retired Cardinal hitters, including Carpenter, who flied out to start the game. A year ago, Carpenter had 55 doubles. That is a Cardinal franchise record. Although in fairness, Stan Musial once had 53 in a season 8 games shorter, a 154 game season. Carpenter still very respectable, but the numbers off from his sensational season of 2013. Still, he'll be an all-star. Talked to Mike Matheny about managing in the all-star game, and he said certainly it's an honor and it's a thrill, but it's a difficult assignment these days. Even if they expanded the rosters, which they continually have done, even if they expanded it to 50, somebody would claim that the 51st guy was dealt an injustice. The decisions are very difficult, especially when each team has to have at least one representative, and you're trying to put together a roster that can win the game because home field advantage in the World Series hinges on it. And yet the all-star managers, John Farrell of the Red Sox and Matheny of the Cardinals, are also being asked pretty much to get everybody in the game if they possibly can. So it's a weird game with several objectives seemingly at cross purposes. Carpenter hits one to short. Segura steps on the bag and completes the double play. So Kelly singles. He's erased as part of a double play to the bottom of the third. 6-zip Brewers. Here's Overbay. First pitch swinging. Wong is all the way back on the outfield grass, but he has plenty of time. Here's Segura, who lined hard to center field in his only at bat. Speaking of the Texas Rangers, the bottom has fallen out. They've been beset by injuries this year, and they're out of contention. And one of the trade rumors, and they are always buzzing around with trade rumors involving just about every team, but one deal that has been brought up would be for the Cardinals to acquire Adrian Beltre, the outstanding third baseman who's both a gold glove fielder and a dangerous hitter, and then move Matt Carpenter back to second base and wait a little while longer on Colton Wong. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Has it been brought up? That's what we're told. The trade market is a little bit different than it used to be, with the second wild card and with parity in general throughout baseball. More teams think of themselves as having a chance. Plus, fewer teams have payroll issues than they used to. So there are fewer deals made that are strictly salary dumps. Here's a smash into left center field. Segura around first, heads for second, and in with a one-out double. Down goes Gallardo. Second strikeout for Kelly. And doing a good job of it so far. A strike to Gomez, who's been hit by a pitch, stole a base, and singled. In there, 0-2. Bob Uecker getting set to leave the radio booth and head over to the MLB Network booth to join us. Gomez fans on 3 pitches. And so Kelly notches a couple of strikeouts in the inning. And Mr. Baseball gets up, and he is gone from the Brewer booth and heading for ours. And we're heading back to the MLB Network studio to check once again with Heidi Watney.
Are you doing the game tonight?
Yes, we are. We're doing the game.
Wow.
Here's Colton Wong taking a strike. You know, just to refresh my memory, I knew that you had 14 lifetime homers.
Okay.
And I knew that you hit exactly 200 in your career.
Right.
Okay. But I didn't realize this, that in your second to last year with the 66 Phillies, you hit 208 with 7 home runs. So you had half of your career homers in one season, and you hit 8 points above your lifetime average. Look at this. This is all the highlights from your entire career in one 20-second bite.
For the whole career?
Yeah, that's pretty much all the good stuff you did.
I didn't think it would be that long. That's great.
So then
That's
the
really
next year, you're with the Braves, right?
Right.
Your final year in the big leagues.
They didn't know I was there, though.
Well, they tried to overlook the following.
Okay.
As Gallardo works 1-2 to Wong, who pops one into left, and it's playable for Chris Davis in foul territory. So that's the first out on the Cardinal fourth. Here are the cold, hard facts.
Are you enjoying this now? I mean,
more than I can possibly tell you.
Okay.
In 62 games
Yes.
for the 67 Atlanta Braves,
Yeah.
you hit 146 and led the league in errors by a catcher with 11 and in pass balls with 27 in just 62 games.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm thinking is you were then really just hitting your stride.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Had I played every game, I would have set records that would be unreachable, Bob. You know that. Matter of fact, it was catching Phil Niekro and Joe Torre wouldn't catch him, and the Braves traded me back to the Braves from Philadelphia for Gene Oliver, who couldn't catch him, and I became Phil's regular catcher, and as a matter of fact, he and his brother Joe were facing each other in a game in Atlanta on a Sunday afternoon, and I saw their folks more during that game than they did the whole weekend.
Parents had seats right behind the plate.
Right behind home plate.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, pretty nice.
Holiday had a double his first time up. We've already played a couple of clips of you with Johnny Carson. Johnny loved
really?
you. He
Yeah, I
loved
had
you.
a good time. I really did. I liked the Tonight Show, and all the people were there that played a part in Johnny's great career and all the good times on that show. Doc Severinsen, really a good friend.
Doc is in the documentary, if we want to call it that airs next Thursday on MLB Network. By the way, it's narrated by Tom Berenger, who played the catcher in Major League and thinks so much of you that when we asked him to do it, he said, "Where do I have to be? I'll do it for sure."
Oh, that's great. That's really good. I had a good time doing it, Bob, too. A lot of the stuff that we did for the show with Bruce Kornblatt and your gang, everybody was really great. It was fun.
You know, since we're talking about Major League, in the next pitch or two,
okay.
And by the way, this is the MLB Network Showcase presented by Chevrolet, because we're obliged to tell you that, and we just did. We're going to roll perhaps the most well-remembered line of yours from Major League. Every player in the big leagues knows this line every time they see you. And as soon as Holliday does something, and while Adams makes his way to the plate, we will flash back to, what was it, 1989? When that film
89,
came out?
87.
Really?
I think, what was it, 25 years?
25 years would be 89.
89, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. 2, 4, yeah.
That one's foul.
Sorry. The funny thing about that film, Bob, in the first year that it was out, each time I'd go to Cleveland, the Brewers were in the American League at that time. Each time I'd go to Cleveland, they never referred to me by my real name anymore. It was always Harry Doyle. Harry Doyle. They had a night in Cleveland a couple years ago, Harry Doyle night, and I went out and threw the pitch, first pitch, and of course, I had to do it the right way.
Holliday lifts one to right. Going back is Braun, and it's over his head. He plays the carom smartly. Holliday's going to have to go some to get the second, but the throw is over the head of Segura, so he's in there. But that ball came off at a wicked angle, and Braun, with quick reflexes, grabbed it. That's a tricky little area there. The way the wall kind of juts out, it's beyond his leap. It hits the edge of the wall there, and he plays the carom. And an accurate throw might have gotten Holliday, but this one sails over everybody.
Yeah, that ball was really hit hard, and Braun got back on it, made the leaping try, Bob. And as you said, that little carom in that corner out there is tough sometimes to play, but you're right, a good throw gets him.
So Holliday is 2 for 2, a pair of doubles, and that brings up Matt Adams. All right, so of the actors who played ball players in Major League, Tom Berenger, Corbin Burnson, Wesley Snipes, Dennis Haysbert, Charlie Sheen, who was the best baseball player?
Well, Charlie Sheen threw the ball really good, Bob. In that probably 85 to 86 mile per hour range, which is pretty good. Even looking at today's pitchers and by today's standards. But with Charlie, and I met him the first night that we started the shoot here in Milwaukee. It was over at Old County Stadium. So I went out to his trailer and met him and talked to him for a long time. And I was surprised the next day when I saw him work and how good he looked and how good he threw the ball. He's outstanding.
And Adams lifts one to deep right center field, and the Cardinals are on the board. That is gone and then some. His 11th home run of the season. Now, if only we had known. Well, I guess you only do it for a Brewer home run. For a Cardinal home run, you would not.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Get up and get out of here. No. I tell you, that guy has done some damage against Milwaukee pitching. A low fastball there from Gallardo, and he didn't watch it. He didn't look at it. He knew, and that one, as you said, Bob, way out of here. And Gallardo, for whatever reason, has had problems against St. Louis in his career. He's 1-11 lifetime against St. Louis. And the other side, Joe Kelly's 1-5 against Milwaukee. I don't know how you figure sometimes, but.
So here's Peralta swinging and missing. And let's take a chance that nothing all that great is going to happen on the next pitch or two, and flash back to Major League One. Oh, I thought I could cue it up, but
that's
now
all right.
I'm told we're going to do it after this hitter.
You know what? I'm with you all the way.
I need to stop producing the game. There's a soft liner into center, which drops for a base hit. So a double by Holliday, homer by Adams, single by Peralta, and now Mr. Harry Doyle.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close?
You know, this is one of those movies. Never going to win an Academy Award, but there are some films that you know are great. You see them once or twice, it's all you need. Every baseball fan I know could watch this film 20 times. They know every line, and they never get tired of it.
You know, what was so much fun for me, Bob, was David Ward and Chris Chesser, who directed and produced it and wrote it. They let me kind of do what I wanted. And, I had a script on the floor, and did a lot of the stuff that they wrote, but kind of did stuff that, you know, came to my mind, just whatever I wanted to say, and pretty much stuff that I do with Milwaukee, depending on what the game is like. I mean, if we got a bad game, score-wise, either way, you know, I figure you got to do something to keep people listening and have some fun once in a while. But I had a great time doing Major League. I really did.
Craig grounded to first, his first time up. He is now 3 for his last 34. And prior to this year,
that was a streak.
He had been one of the most dangerous hitters, especially in clutch situations in the National League.
Tell you another guy that hit Brewer pitching very well, this guy, Alan Craig.
So the Cardinals trying to climb back into this one. They've chipped away with 2 on the long home run by Matt Adams here in the 4th. You know what I loved about that line? And every time I'm with you, you know, I'll walk into the clubhouse or the batting cage, and players will see you and say, just a bit outside. But to me, what makes it is you look down like you're marking your scorecard, you shake your head, and you go, tried the corner and missed. Just kind of an afterthought. Tried the corner and missed by about 15 feet.
But you're on radio, so who can see it?
A called strike 3. So Craig remains mired in the worst slump of his career. You know, I did a little bit of research. I thought I knew your
You
life.
always do.
I thought I knew your life story inside and out, but then I came across something I hadn't heard before.
Okay.
Charlie Dressen, great baseball man of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You're making a face. And he wasn't your favorite guy.
If you say so.
Anyway, Charlie Dressen, I guess, was managing the Braves,
yes.
right? All right. So you come up, that's your first big league club,
that's right.
the Milwaukee Braves.
Yes.
And when he sends you out, he says, there's no room in baseball for a clown.
That's what he said. Yeah. And we had an outfielder at that time by the name of Al Spangler.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie Dressen had a recipe for crab sauce that he used to make.
In the clubhouse, in his office?
Yes, he would, you know, for the writers and the guys that were his pals, right? Never for the players. Guys like Warren Spahn and Matthews, they could have some, but the rest of us couldn't. So Al Spangler and I used to take sand out of the sand boxes in the clubhouse where they put out cigarettes and stuff. We used to throw some of that in his crab sauce, yeah, and then watch everybody eat. It was really kind of neat.
Did they know the difference?
No. I tried it myself.
Gourmet stuff.
Yeah, Charlie, I remember that like it was, a long time ago.
Which it was.
Yes. Charlie Dressen. His other saying was, get me a run and I'll think of something. That's what he said.
Regarded himself as a managerial genius.
Exactly.
The 1-2 is fouled away. Now, what about the time you're working Monday Night Baseball with Howard Cosell?
Oh, yeah.
And Howard found you argumentative, and he said, you're awfully truculent tonight, Uke. But then again, you probably don't even know what truculent means.
That's exactly what he said. And I said, I think I do. If you had a truck and I borrowed it, it would be a truculent. And he looked at me like, well, you know Howard. And you know what he looked like when he was looking like that. But, I mean, we were doing, Al Michaels was doing the play-by-play.
Yeah.
And Al started laughing. And the guys in the truck downstairs, I could hear them. But it was, one of Howie's things where he's using those big words and didn't think I knew what he was talking about, which I did.
A full count now to John Jay.
He was fun to work with. He really was.
He liked you. He got a kick out of you.
Yeah, well, I wasn't a threat, He liked me, and we could have fun, and he, I liked it when it got hot in the booth and his hairpiece would start sliding off and his headset would be coming down on one side of his ears, and it was impossible not to laugh at, it was.
And Jay serves one down the left field line and into the seats.
Well, I had a good time with him, Bob. I really did. He was fun to be around for me, he was, and he didn't get along with a lot of people, but he always thought sports, whatever he was working, was a lot easier than it was, to hit, to play football, to shoot baskets, and you know, he thought it was always
If
easy.
it was so easy, everybody would do it.
Well, that's, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The 3-2 pitch. Bounce toward the hole. Jeanette dives, smothers it, gets up, throws, and gets him. Terrific play by Scooter Jeanette. And out of the bullpen comes Nick Greenwood. 26-year-old left-hander, has a record of 1-1. And after one pitch, Cruz heads to the mound.
Yeah, Tony Cruz, I'm sure making sure they're on the same page here, Bob, you know, with the signs. And I was talking with the Brewers manager a couple of days ago about signs and how many things you can do that confuse a pitcher. You know, a lot of times they get too intricate with signs, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, with nobody on, and you try to make it as easy as you possibly can.
Scooter Jeanette pokes one to short. And Peralta throws him out. You know, there was a shot just a moment ago of Ron Renicky.
Yeah.
You and he could commiserate. He was a switch-hitting, lefty-throwing outfielder for 6 different teams.
Yeah.
Hit 17 lifetime home runs. But among those he hit them off, Seaver, Hershiser, Viola, and the game he told me was his single greatest thrill in baseball. He hit 2 in one game off Dave Dravecky.
Well, I mean, I did other stuff too. I mean, if you want to compare things, how about after the game? What did he do then?
Fill me in.
Well, that's when I had my best times.
What happened that one time in Philadelphia?
Well, I'd had enough to eat. It was about 4 or 5 hours after the game, and I was sitting on a curb, and picked up by the Philadelphia gendarmes.
There's a shot off Lucroy's bat coming on as Holiday to make the one-handed catch.
I fined $50 for being, you know, enough to eat on the street, then $150 for being with the Phillies. So it was a little testy.
I think that was a proportionate decision by the magistrate.
Well, you know, Bob, I'm always a fair guy, and you knew that. I mean, you know, going to the ballpark and finding out that.
Fair ball down the line. Ramirez will have extra bases. Holiday plays the carom. Here's his throw to second base, and Ramirez slides in safely.
Yeah, Rami thought he was going to have an easy double there. That ball hit the lower box seat railing area down there and caromed right back to Holiday. And Ramirez ends up having to hustle this one, Bob. Holiday, not a great thrower. He doesn't have a big-time arm, and Ramirez doesn't run very well either, but he's in there with that double.
So a 2-out, 2-bagger. And the Brewers leading 6-2. Have Ryan Braun at the plate with a chance to add to it. Yeah, if Ramirez was really going all out when he first hit it, it wouldn't have been that close.
Yep, you're right.
So here's Braun, who had an RBI triple his last time up. On the first pitch, he lofts a fly to right. Easy chance for Alan Craig, and that'll do it in the bottom of the 4th. We're just getting started with Bob Uecker, who needs the work. He needs the reps. It's 6-2 after 4.
That's kind of sad. The guy's lonely.
Lovely likeness of you, however. Sitting not in the front row, but in your customary seat.
That's about as far as you can get upstairs.
Pop into shallow right, and Braun makes the catch to retire Cruz. So Greenwood, who just entered the game in the bottom of the 4th, is going to bat for himself here with 1 out in the Cardinal 5th. So back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, Gene Mauch was the manager there. You knew Gene Mauch, didn't you, Bob?
I did.
I like Gene Mauch. He didn't use me all that much, which was a favor. And I think, you know what, Philadelphia, I think the only fight that I ever had with a fan.
With a fan?
Yeah, happened in Philadelphia, right behind our dugout.
A bouncing ball to third. Ramirez has had a busy night over there already, and that's the 2nd out of the Cardinal 5th.
Somebody was on me for, I mean, you know, the whole night, about 4 nights in a row it happened. I don't even know I was playing 4 nights in a row in the first place. But you know, after a while, they get a little personal, talk about your family and everything.
Yeah.
And I first, you know, your reaction is diving into the seats, and I had a chest protector, I had shin guards on and everything, so no big deal. And the only problem with that, of course, is you're going to be sued.
Yeah, inevitably.
I remember walking in the courtroom that day, and she was sitting there with her attorney. She was still pretty well marked up.
We are now into some very politically incorrect territory.
Well, it depends on, you know,
what
your tolerance is.
I can get myself in hot water pretty well on my own, as you well know.
I know you can. I know that. I follow you. I follow you all the time. I don't Twitter. I don't tweet. I don't do stuff like that. I call you. You know that.
And annoy me. Here's Carpenter, who's
really?
0 for 2.
Okay. Now I understand. All right.
You know, I don't know how you can be calling a game and texting me during the game, but you do.
I have somebody that does it for me. Okay?
Yeah, you have a staff.
Right? Come on.
Right. Carpenter is flied out and hit into a double play.
We talked last night during our dinner outing, and I'm looking out over the center field portion of Miller Park here, and I see a full moon that reminds me of one of our best times ever on a telecast.
I hadn't noticed that, but maybe we can get a shot. It's just above the rim of the stadium out in center field. There it is, a perfect full moon. And I know we didn't talk about anything before you sat down here. It was just whatever occurred to us. I know what you are referring to. 2 out, nobody on. And the 2-2 to Carpenter is out of play. Sometime in the 90s, the Rangers are playing the Yankees at Yankee Stadium in a division series game. It's a dramatic game late in the contest, and the director decides he'll just take tight shots of everybody on the Yankee bench. So I just underline it. The caption is just the last name of the guy.
Right.
Jeter, Torrey, Posada, Williams, whoever it was. And then the next shot is of a perfect full moon over Yankee Stadium, and you say,
Don Zimmer. Popeye, who we just lost not too long ago, one of our favorite people of all time. Yeah, that shot came up on the telecast, and Bob hesitated for a moment. I jumped in it, Don Zimmer, and then Bob went on with the rest of the team. Yeah.
2 out, nobody on, and the 2-2 to Carpenter. We'll do it again. So I'm thinking about Brewer history.
Yeah.
Molitor's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yount.
Yep.
Hank Aaron played his last 2 years with the Brewers after beginning his career as a Milwaukee Brave prior to the move to Atlanta. And then there's you in the broadcaster's wing.
Well, yeah, it's in a different building, and it's in a smaller town outside of Cooperstown, but it's, you know, it's on my own place.
It's kind of an annex.
It's well, that's a nice term for it, but yeah, I'm there. How about Raleigh Fingers too?
Well, Raleigh's in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Yeah, but combination of teams, but he was with the Brewers.
Hank Aaron. What are you trying to trick me?
You're right. You're right.
Sometimes
there you go, Raleigh Fingers.
I'm starting to tighten up.
Who still has the perfectly waxed handlebar mustache.
Man, he looks great.
Broken bat ground ball to Jeanette from the edge of the outfield grass. That finishes a 1-2-3 fifth for Gallardo. And it remains 6-2 Milwaukee. Bob Uecker remains with us back after this.
But you know, of all the things that I've done, this has always been number one, baseball. The commercials, the films, the television series. I could never wait for everything to get over to get back to baseball. I still, and this is not sour grapes by any means, still think I should have gone in as a player.
No one would dispute
what
that.
do you think?
No fair-minded person would dispute that.
That was a great time.
A strike from Nick Greenwood to Chris Davis to start the bottom of the fifth. Davis had a double, narrowly missing a homer. Drove in 2 his first at bat. Shallow center field. Jay comes sprinting in, and John Jay makes the catch on the run, and Davis is now 1 for 3. You know, this is a day worth commemorating in baseball history. You know why?
I'm with you.
100 years ago today, July 11th, 1914, at Fenway Park, Babe Ruth made his major league debut as a pitcher. As a pitcher, yeah.
Today?
He threw 7 innings against Cleveland. He was the winning pitcher.
Wow, look at that.
In a 4-3 victory for the Red Sox.
Wow.
And he went 0 for 2 at the plate.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys find that stuff, but that's good stuff. Look at that box score.
You trail him by exactly 700 lifetime homers.
Well, there's another guy in there. His name was Babe Roth. And I don't know, he had like 6.
Yeah, right next to Babe Ruth in the baseball encyclopedia.
Roth.
Yeah.
Pronounced Roth.
Overbay has a walk and a ground out. Do you remember your big league debut?
Yeah, I remember my big league, let's see, my debut, yeah, was here in Milwaukee. I remember the first home run I hit against a guy that went on the greatness, Diomedes Olivo.
A left-handed pitcher.
Yes.
With the Cardinals and other teams, right?
Well, he was with the Pirates when I took him out. The sad thing was the fan threw it back on the field, and then the Pirate outfielder threw it back up there, Skinner, and then they threw it back on the field again, and eventually I don't know where it went.
Kind of slows things down.
Well, it took me that long to run. I was so surprised at contact.
In fact,
yes,
your big league debut took place on April 13th, 1962. You grounded out as a pinch hitter for the Braves against the Dodgers, and the pitcher was Don Drysdale. Did he go? He did. And Greenwood notches his first strikeout, and this is second inning of work out of the Cardinal bullpen as he retires Overbay.
Were we here or at Dodger Stadium? See, I don't remember that. It's not important. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I think my first hit.
It was at Dodger Stadium.
I pinch hit against Drysdale too once. He was mean. He was a nasty guy. Good pitcher. Great guy.
A really good guy, but a nasty guy on the mound.
Oh, boy.
One of the nicest guys ever. Here's
out
Segura.
to be a great friend. Yep.
Line to center and double. Last year, the Brewers finished 74-88. 23 games back of the Cardinals. If they hang on tonight, they'll be 3 up in the National League Central with 2 games left before the All-Star break. Can't swing much harder than that. If there were any buttons on the shirt, he would have loosened 1 or 2.
Gene Segura's got a chance to be one of the best shortstops in baseball, Bob. He's having a little problem. He's been a little bit of a slump lately. He picked up a base hit earlier tonight, but this guy's a good player, good solid player.
Bouncing ball from shortstop. Peralta throws across his body, and Adams with the good scoop. Nice play on both ends to retire Segura. So Greenwood has done credible work out of the Cardinal bullpen and kept things reasonably in control. Renicky may want to talk about this. Let's see. It probably is not worth the challenge. It looks like Scott Barry, the first base umpire, got it right. Both angles that we've seen indicate that. And Renicky has concluded it isn't worth the trouble. Back to Miller Park in a bit.
Our last game in the major leagues. You know, you think, it would be a day that you'd want to remember.
Sure.
I can remember, a couple of bottles came flying at me, and a couple of cans, nuts and bolts, and, that was when I left my house.
We are on to the 6th with Bob Uecker.
My kids used to want to ride home with a different player. That's sad, isn't it?
Awful.
Not even our house.
Gut-wrenching. Wong, Holiday, and Adams in the Cardinals' 6th now. Once the top of the 6th is over,
yes,
always a highlight, the sausage race will take place.
Yes. I'm surprised you're not going to be in it tonight.
Well, I was busy with you. Otherwise, I would have.
You think you would have taken a shot at it?
You know, the problem is, you get inside one of those things, it's
kinda
not
like
the
it?
most
Oh.
aromatic.
No,
No.
no, you're right about that.
It's like, you know, you get inside the Philly fanatic or Fred Bird's suit, and a lot of the romance just kind of disappears. I think we have the standings for the season. The Italian is out in front. Here we go. The Italian is the best with 15. The Brat, the worst, which would be spelled W-U-R-S-T.
Right? That's your favorite, right?
Absolutely. Here's Colton Wong with a long drive to right, and all Braun can do is watch it leave the park. That is Colton Wong's 4th home run in his last 6 games, prior to which he had only 1 for the season. He leads off the 6th with a long home run, and after trailing 6-0, the Cardinals have cut that in half. It's 6-3.
Yeah, he had a big one the other night against Pittsburgh, too, to win a game.
Matt Adams and Colton Wong hit walk-off homers against the Pirates earlier this week. They've combined, Adams with a 2-run shot and Wong with a solo, to get the Cardinals back into this one in Milwaukee.
Yep. Fastball right down the middle, about thigh high, and he got it all.
The 2-2 to Holiday. Runs it out full.
You know, he was one of those guys that, by today's standards and today's players in the games, when they hit home runs and watch them, that's the way it is today. When Book was pitching, there was none of that. I mean, he was that kind of guy. He chased Reggie Jackson around the bases here one night.
And what did Reggie do?
He hit a home run. He hit a long home run and watched it for a while.
Well, I figured that's what set it off, but what did he do when Vuk chased him around the bases?
He ran faster. Yeah. Yeah, Vuk just kept walking around on the infield grass, and Reggie's running, and, you know, took off. It was kind of funny. Yeah. Pete Vukovich. Works for Seattle now. Grounds crew. No,
nice. Nice.
No.
Anything to stay in the game. Hey, it's still baseball. Come on.
Yeah, he's a good friend, Pete Vukovich.
Overbay gives Holiday a huge portion of the line toward first, and Holiday lays off and draws a walk following the home run by Wong. So Gallardo flirting with some trouble here.
Yeah, he's getting up into that area, Bob, where the bullpen is going to come into play here, and Rob Wooten, as you said a moment ago, is ready at any time. Nobody out here again in the 6th inning.
Adams has grounded to first and then hit a tape measure job to right center. The Cardinals, as we told you earlier, have not overcome a deficit any larger than 4 runs in any game this year. They are scoring about a run fewer on average per game than they did last year for Mike Matheny, when they led the National League with nearly 5 runs per game on average.
And you talked earlier about Alan Craig having a tough season, Bob. He's one of the big reasons why. But, you know, as we've talked throughout the telecast tonight, I mean, July, the All-Star break, I don't think any manager, any of these guys get too nervous about what's going to happen up until you get into the month of August. Once you get in there and, you know, you start really evaluating your club and what you're going to need if you're going to make a run. I mean, that's the time that these guys really start thinking about it.
We got to look at Mike Matheny a moment ago. He began his big league career as a Milwaukee Brewer in 1994, subsequently played for the Blue Jays, then the Cardinals and Giants, won 4 Gold Gloves. I asked him what he remembered most about his time in Milwaukee. He said just how thrilled he was to put on a big league uniform. He said, I offered to sign a 10-year contract right then and there.
Yeah, he was.
But the front office didn't see it quite the same way.
Not back then, they didn't. But he's one of my all-time favorite people, Bob. He's a good friend. And, his times here in Milwaukee, he's one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. Anything, I don't care, football, basketball, I don't care what it is. He's one of the best. And a good manager. He's done well with the Cardinals, and he's home. That's the big thing for him.
1-2 pitch to Adams. A called strike 3. Big strikeout against a dangerous hitter just when Gallardo was beginning to tempt fate.
Hit that outside corner with a breaking pitch, and Adams looked. It's right there.
Johnny Peralta to the plate. He struck out and he singled. You know, to finish up about Matheny, and it's important to note, he was one of the toughest catchers. He was willing to give up his body. He was willing to block the plate. He believes he's had something close to 15 to 16 concussions in his life, including playing football, as well as the concussions incurred playing baseball.
Yep.
And had a stretch of time where he was having memory lapses, where he'd be driving and couldn't remember where he was going and have to call his wife.
Yep.
Very scary. That cognitive difficulty has passed. But I asked him before the game, do you worry that when you're 50 or 55, considering what we now know, that some of these troubles may return? He says, I think about that all the time. I'm very concerned about it. And he was one of the guys most adamant in pushing for the rule change about not blocking the plate and not having both the runner and the catcher exposed to catastrophic injury the way they have been for years and years. It's just been part of the game. But when you think about it and you think of the value of especially a catcher to a team, it often isn't worth it to prevent one run.
Yeah, and you never thought about it, though. I never thought about it. I really didn't. You know, it was part of the game at that time. That's the way the game was played.
Boy, here is a drive to deep left field. Sounded like a cannon shot off the bat of Peralta. And the Cardinals have come almost all the way back. Very un-Cardinal-like. 3 home runs in the game. Peralta, his 14th of the season. And it's 6-5. Now Renicky wishes he'd had the hook out a little earlier.
Long home run by Johnny Peralta. Again, a pitch that was up. And he got it all. And the Cardinals, as you said, Bob, 6-5 now. And this has been pretty much the ongoing scene between the Brewers and the Cardinals. I mean, they're always tough games. One way or the other, the series is tied at 3 apiece. And it's Peralta. It's not the first time against Milwaukee pitching, but look where this pitch is.
Bam.
Right in the wheelhouse. Yeah, he got it.
If you could ask for where you want it to be thrown, that's what Peralta would have asked for. 3 Cardinal home runs, and every one of them was tattooed. Gallardo is done, but we are not. Back to Miller Park in a bit. And in Milwaukee, a laugher has turned into a nail-biter for the Brewers. Rob Wooten comes out of the bullpen to protect what is now a 1-run lead. A ball and a strike to Alan Craig. Wooten is 1-3 with an ERA upwards of 4. 28-year-old right-hander. Threw it by Craig at 90. You know, you get in a slump, and not only is your swing messed up, but every time you guess wrong.
Yeah, it's you know, it plays on your mind too, Bob. Not only during the game. I mean, it's on the bus ride back to the hotel. It's at the hotel all night.
Well, this may help him snap out of it. Hits softly, but in a nice spot for him, and it drops in. When you're 3 for your last 35, you'll take a little flare like that.
Well, been there, done that. For June and July. It does. Your batting practice, the extra batting practice, all that good stuff that you try to do to get out of slumps, and talking to hitting coaches, and you know, it's better off to go up there without a bat and try for a walk. I mean, in those cases where I did that, and sometimes I was successful.
Hit solidly through the middle by John Jay. So Wooten comes out of the bullpen, and the Cardinals immediately jump on him for back-to-back hits.
I was talking earlier in the game, Bob, on the other broadcast that I do, about the 6-run lead in the first couple of innings between these two clubs. And you watched the Brewers and the Cardinals play many, many times. You know, it's a rivalry, but a nice rivalry. But these leads that are, you know, sometimes you think they're big, they're not.
This is the Cardinals' first 3 home run game since August of last season. Cruz is 0 for 2. 2 on with 1 out. And a ball in the dirt.
You know, when you got the kind of pitching that the St. Louis Cardinals have and have had, I don't know where they keep coming up with a lot of these hard-throwing young guys, Bob, and they do throw hard. It seems as though each and every time they bring somebody up, it's one of those guys, and you see them for the first time in a game, whether it be here or in St. Louis, and they're impressive. They really are. And, you know, if they, you know that guys like Matt Holliday are going to hit home runs. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. Got that guy in center field that stung us a few times, too, John Jay. Alan Craig's going to get right, too.
Seth Maness getting ready. They're going to hit for Greenwood. Oscar Taveras, a terrific young outfield prospect, no longer a prospect, a big leaguer now. He's in the on-deck circle. He'll be the pinch hitter, unless Cruz ends the inning by hitting into a double play. That young man, Taveras, just rocketed through their minor league system. Hit .386 in the Midwest League in 2011. Was the Texas League Player of the Year the next year. And then at Memphis, AAA a year ago, was kind of derailed by an ankle injury, which cut his season in half. But he's with the big club now, and generally regarded as one of the best young, at least potentially best young outfielders in the game. But as Matheny said, of both Taveras and until this past week Colton Wong, potential is fine, but we need results. Wong of late has delivered them.
You know, and on the other side of the coin, you've got the Brewers with guys like Ramirez and Braun. The kid in left field, Bob's going to be a good one. Chris Davis got a lot of power. Gomez in center, an all-star center fielder and a Gold Glove winner. I mean, they've got power. And if the pitching holds, and they just brought up a youngster by the name of Jimmy Nelson,
pitches tomorrow
night, yeah, against Adam Wainwright.
Fouled back by Cruz. By the way, it's an afternoon game.
Yeah.
So don't show up at 7.
Well,
because you'll miss the broadcast.
Well, you know what? That's the problem I had at Philadelphia too. I was going to say that earlier, where I'd come to the park and I'd find out they had played that afternoon.
And they scarcely missed you.
Well, you know, you don't know. They say that, but you don't know that for sure.
Both bullpens are going to get their work in tonight. Zach Duke loosening up for the Brewers. The 3-2 pitch coming to Cruz. And he draws a walk that loads the bases. So Wooten comes in, yields a soft single to Craig, a sharp single to Jay, and then loses Cruz on a 3-2 pitch. The bases are loaded. Going to be a new first baseman. Overbay is going to go out, and Mark Reynolds, another veteran, will come in to replace him. The pitcher's spot is due first in the bottom half of the 6th, so that's going to become Reynolds. And the pitcher will occupy the 7th spot in the order, which was vacated by Overbay. Wooten didn't get anybody out.
Got a good breaking ball, Bob. Comes down sidearm every once in a while and tries to get those lefties to give a little bit.
Inherits a bases loaded mess and misses with the first one to Taveras. Taveras, as we mentioned, despite all the glowing reports and everything he's done in the minor leagues, and there you see part of it, has not delivered yet in the big leagues. In 69 at-bats, he's hitting .203 with 1 home run. In his minor league career, he actually hit over .300 against left-handed pitching, slightly better than he did against right-handers. And Duke falls behind 2-0. Craig is at third, Jay at second, Cruz at first. Three runs home already in the Cardinals' 6th. Duke drops down sidearm. A chopper. Segura gets one. Can they turn it? They cannot. And the Cardinals have tied the game. The ball was hit too slowly, and Taveras runs pretty well coming out of the left-handed side of the box. And so this one is even at 6.
Here it is again. Slowly hit ground ball. Segura's only shot's going to be with Jeanette at second base. Alan Craig is out on the force, but Taveras, as you said, Bob, runs well, and they get the fielder's choice and an RBI. Do you think this guy's going 3-0 here?
Well, with two outs,
why not?
Kolten Wong is on deck. If they get to him, they would have batted around. He began the inning with a long home run. He takes a strike. Zach Duke has been a starter and a reliever at various times in his career. In fact, made the National League All-Star team in 2009, even though he lost 16 games. And he walks Matt Carpenter to load the bases and bring up Kolten Wong. I'm not quite sure how you make the All-Star team when you wind up 11-16, but he did in 2009.
Well, you know what? He was a hard thrower back then, harder than he throws now. He's done a good job here, Bob. As you said a moment ago, he's come on and he's worked in games and gotten out of jams and kept the Brewers in games. And he's one of those guys. He's a nibbler, and if he can get you to chase, that's his repertoire for the most part.
He works now to Wong. Ball one.
Again, it's a breaking ball down low and away, trying to get Wong to chase. And the Cardinals right back in this thing, tied at 6 now.
From the belt and to the plate, drops down sidearm, a chopper up the middle, grabbed on the run by Jeanette, and he steps on the bag to put an end to it. The Cardinals score 4, leave 3, and we go to the bottom half of the 6th, tied at 6. Nick Greenwood did good work keeping it close enough for the Cardinals to get back into it. Through 2 innings of one-hit ball, didn't allow any runs. Mark Reynolds, always a threat to take you deep, and even more likely that he'll take a walk back to the dugout. His strikeout rate is the highest in Major League history.
He hit a big pinch home run the other night to get the Brewers back into the game, Bob, but he's done a heck of a job playing at third base, playing at first base, and either he or Overbay, you know, in the game. He's played at third when Ramirez was gone and did a great job defensively.
I know you folks are on pins and needles. We recorded the sausage race.
You did.
It was not close.
No, the Italian.
Yeah, well, you'll see for yourself momentarily, but there's a reason why the Italian is running away with the season-long competition. He is simply the class of the field. I say he. I assume. I can't really tell for sure, but
now I'm not.
But it has. The Italian is sporting a mustache.
You mean the costume?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the costume.
All right.
There he is, number 3 in the middle there.
Yeah, I've been here. I know. I thought you were talking about somebody that was inside the costume.
No, I've actually not met the human contestants. I prefer to think of them in character and in character only.
You're always on top of your game. I'm sorry I butted in there. You said that.
Here's a 2-2 pitch from Manus to Reynolds. And a little squibber up the first base line, picked up by Manus, who applies the tag for the first out. And now let's go back to the between innings drama.
Be careful, a couple are bumping each other. Italian's gonna win this one running away. He's got it. And no casualty.
Well, Uke, even though my favorite, the Brat, where do I go here? The Brat did not prevail. Here you go.
All right.
The bratwurst with secret stadium sauce, which I have topped with just a dab of sauerkraut.
I know that. I see it.
This is by far.
Little crisp kraut.
This is by far the finest ballpark delicacy anywhere in the major leagues.
I know it's your favorite. Tell by your shirt.
Here's Gomez, hit by a pitch, singled and struck out. Which brings me to this.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I know what you're going to talk about, and I think you should.
Back in the 80s.
It's a big story, yes.
When I was doing the Saturday game of the week with Tony Kubek, hit through the middle, grabbed by Wong, and he throws Gomez out. You can't hit it much harder, but it caromed right to Wong.
See if Seth Manus is all right here. That ball was hit hard, as you said, Bob. Right back at him. And a big bounce and a lucky bounce with Kolten Wong on the receiving end of that one. And it's a 1-4-3 ground out for Carlos Gomez, but a ball that he really stung.
And it stung Manus.
In the glove.
They're going to leave him in. So anyway, back in the 80s, that's when I first proclaimed my devotion to the brat with secret stadium sauce at the Old County Stadium.
Yes.
Every time I came to do the game with Tony Kubek, I'd have one during the 7th inning stretch. So I get a letter eventually from a guy named Shue Sullivan in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And he says that he's friends with the all-time brat-eating champion, Ma Pesh. And he includes a Polaroid of Ma. And I'm told that he's slimmed down in the ensuing years, but at that time, he had to be tipping the Toledos at about 350. A ball to Scooter Gennett. And Shue informs me that Ma Pesh once ate 11 brats during a single game. And as if to prove his claim, he includes the box score from the game. Adams dives but can't come up with it. And a 2-out single for Gennett. So he includes the box score from the game in August of 1972 between the Brewers and Orioles, as if this proves that Ma Pesh had had 11 brats.
Did you ever meet her?
Oh, wait. And so Sullivan concludes his letter by saying, this was all the more surprising to Ma and his friends because prior to that day, Ma had never eaten well against Baltimore.
I remember when you were here, and I remember that story from a long, long time ago. And we got a minute here. I'm going to take my wallet out and show you Ma's picture. She tried to stay in touch with me because she couldn't get in touch with you and knew we were friends.
Ma is a guy.
I know that.
Ma is a guy.
What's the difference?
Jonathan Lucroy,
How do you know
0 for 2 with a walk. 0 for 2 with a walk.
Oh, you're getting tight.
I'm very truculent. The pitch. In there. So anyway, I say, look, I'll do it if you prorate it. This guy has to outweigh me about 2.5 to 1. If he eats 10 and I eat 5, I think I win. And we could never agree on the terms. The promoters could never quite come to terms, and it never happened.
I've seen you here on numerous occasions.
Lucroy, it's gloved by Manus, and he underhands it to Adams to end the inning. And somebody has taken up a spot in the prime location occupied by a tribute to Mr. Baseball.
I get a little nervous about that guy. He's there every night. Things happen.
How much does that seat cost?
It's $1.
$1.
$1. Yeah, the
That's
seats
a great
up there
deal.
are $1. Yeah, there's 200 seats up there. They're $1. With the money going to Brewers charities, and then if you sit next to the statue, it costs you another $1. You want to take a photograph, take a picture.
Perfect.
It's kind of tough on me to run that thing up there every night, put it on my back, and then all the way up there, and
take it home,
down again,
put it in the garage.
Oh man.
Holiday tips one back into the glove of Lucroy, and the count is 1-2. Matt is the leadoff man in the 7th, to be followed by Adams and Peralta. So where were we? Oh, I know.
Eating a brat.
Yeah, well, we finished the brat. And this, for me, is mild consumption. Because I have, although I never rivaled Ma Pesh's claim of 11, I did have 4 during one game of the '82 World Series. I was doing the pregame, and Dick Enberg, Joe Garagiola, and Tony Kubek were calling the game. That left me with time on my hands. And during the game, it was a Saturday afternoon game. They still played afternoon games in the World Series then. During the game, I had 4 bratwursts with secret stadium sauce.
Yep.
Which impressed my colleagues.
Well, it impressed me too. I've been around here a long time, long enough to know that you did it, and still can do it.
Pound for pound, that was an impressive performance.
I'm your pal, so I'm not going to say anything negatively. I was happy that you did it. I watched you later on, the pain and suffering and. Who brought you the Alka-Seltzer?
When one overindulges, Holiday strikes out to start the 7th against Zach Duke. This fella almost looks as if he's commiserating with you. He actually thinks that is you.
That's the problem. This guy has been there every night, and it's starting to get a little testy. I find him in the back seat of my car once in a while, and how he gets in there, I have no idea. But he seems to be enjoying himself.
Yeah.
As long as nobody sits on my lap, that's. You know what I'm saying?
I'll bet more than one visitor has perched on your lap. And I'm talking about in the booth.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the real you.
Yeah. Sometimes not visitors. These are people who actually like me.
Duke dropping down sidearm and taking something off. There's a lot of finesse in the way he approaches his craft. Adams is 1 for 3, but the one was a titanic home run that started the Cardinals on the road back. They were trailing 6-0. He had a 2-run shot on the 4th, and they've come all the way back with the help of homers from Adams, Wong, and Peralta to tie it at 6.
You saw Zach Duke early in his career, Bob. He's a harder thrower and has come back now, as you said a moment ago. More of a breaking style pitcher, more breaking balls and fastballs, but every once in a while against the lefties, when you start looking breaking ball, it's fastball.
Oh man, Matt Adams is a .336 hitter, and Duke just tied him in knots. I mean, he can give, when he's right, he can give a left-handed batter fits.
Yeah, anytime those guys drop down, either right-handed or left-handed, they drop down into that sidearm area or underhanded. Watch his front leg. It always makes you give a little bit. Look where he took that swing and the difference in the swing when you're fooled like that, or you're not staying in there. Watch. Look at that. Breaking ball down and away again.
Peralta launched one deep into the second deck in left his last time up for his 14th homer of the season. He also has a single, so he's 2 for 3. Duke working on Peralta. And the 3-2 is lined to center field. Gomez will not get there. It drops in front of him. So Peralta with a big night. He's 3 for 4. And you know what they did when we were there on a Friday night? As soon as it turned dark, they turned the ball field into, in effect, a drive-in or walk-in movie. In center field, they had a giant screen, and they played the film Field of Dreams in front of 6,000 people, including Kevin Costner,
really,
and a couple of his kids and his wife. And I don't know how many times Kevin has seen it, but he loved watching it in that setting with his family, and the appreciation and the sense of pride that people in Dyersville feel about their little place in baseball history.
Great place. Beautiful film. Really was.
So we'll pay tribute both to you and to Kevin Costner.
Thank you, pal.
Two kindred spirits next Thursday night.
Kindred.
Ron Renicky makes a change, and we'll be back. Bob Uecker's plaque.
Oh, that's
among
the Brewers
many.
Wall of Fame. Yeah, just celebrated that a short time ago, inviting back former Brewer players that have been here and part of this history.
Brandon Kinsler is next to come out of the Milwaukee bullpen, and he misses high to Alan Craig. Kinsler is 29 years old, 5'10" and 188 from Las Vegas. For the season, he's 1-3 with an ERA of 3.86. Got roughed up a little bit yesterday. Worked a third of an inning as the Phillies completed their 4-game sweep of the Brewers. Faced 3 batters, and 2 of them got hits. At 93, he couldn't catch up with it.
High inside fastball, tough pitch to catch up with anyway, but when I watch Craig, Bob, and watching him throughout his career with St. Louis, to me, he looks a little bit tardy on everything tonight. Like it's one of those situations where I'm looking for something, don't get it, and swing anyway.
The 1-2 pitch. He got a little piece of it and stays alive. Harvey's wall bangers when they were managed by Harvey Keene.
Harvey Keene.
Won the pennant in 1982 and had a 3-2 lead on the Cardinals in the World Series, but then the Cards won games 6 and 7 in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, yeah. Tough year for the Crew, a great year for Milwaukee, but that series went to St. Louis.
Peralta's chased back. In the bottom of the 7th, the Brewers will have Ramirez, Braun, and Davis. They got the first 6. The Cardinals got the next 6. Full count to Craig. Uecker, how much longer you want to do this? I don't mean this tonight.
No, yeah,
this will end soon
I'd like
enough.
to do this with you a lot. I mean, this is pretty nice. Seats are uncomfortable. Other than that, I'm having a great time. No, you know what? I've cut back on my schedule a little bit, Bob.
Peralta goes. The pitch comes home, and Craig slices it foul, allowing you to complete your answer.
Yeah, to back off a little bit and do maybe 100 games, 110 games. And it's the first year I've done that, but you know, I've talked to ownership about it, and they're the ones that have encouraged me. They're the ones that told me to quit altogether. But
and just to spite them, you continue.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah,
but no, I'm enjoying it. I really am. Still love to do the games and love the extra time off.
And Craig swings and misses. Second time he struck out tonight. Kinsler puts an end to the Cardinals' 7th. They'll stretch at Miller Park with the game tied at 6. Your broadcast sidekick, Joe Block, has been alone now for going on his 4th inning. Can he handle it?
Oh, yeah, he's in good shape. Real good shape. Joe does a great job.
He does.
Great job.
Good broadcaster.
Glad the Brewers.
There he is, a lonely man. Now your wife Judy is seated behind him for moral support.
Well, she does a little play-by-play too.
It's good to be versatile.
Kind of mumbles. See that?
Yeah.
Uptight. There you go. Why are we here? Why didn't he get a regular job? Checks start coming in once a month. All this time, I'm sitting down in front of her. I thought she was enjoying herself. Look at that. Doesn't look like it.
Well, maybe her spirits fall when you're not around.
Well,
she could come in here and sit behind you here.
Well, I didn't know, I don't break any rules.
Maybe she just doesn't want to leave Joe completely alone.
Well, they've exchanged numbers.
There's your longtime producer
Ken
and engineer.
Sommerfeld.
Yeah.
Yep, Ken Sommerfeld.
Seth Maness going to work on Aramis Ramirez and missing in tight. 2-2. Ramirez has a sacrifice fly. He's struck out and he's doubled. Smacks one to third. It's right at Carpenter. Long throw to Adams. 1 out. Let's go back to the 1964 World Series. What were the circumstances? Cardinals against the Yankees.
Yeah. What circumstances do you want?
This.
Okay, well, they had 3 Dixieland bands playing on the field during pregame stuff, and I was out shagging fly balls during batting practice. And Roger Craig, who you see there, number 41, suggested that I put that tuba on. One of the bands had taken a little break, and Roger said, why don't you put that thing on? And I did, and the photographer up around the home plate area took the picture, and as I put it on, and
Braun goes the opposite way, flares one into right for a base hit.
Roger suggested that I maybe try to catch a couple of fly balls, which I did and missed, I'll admit to that, and dented the tuba quite a bit and came up with the money to pay for a new tuba, and everything was okay.
They actually did ask you to pay for the repairs, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I didn't have the money to do it, so I joined the band as their front man, and when Cardinals went on the road, I stayed home. And
so you were actually on the Cardinals roster in '64 for the World Series?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Tim McCarver, of course, was the starting catcher.
Well, Tim McCarver, I mean, Tim McCarver, of course, is much younger than I am. And when he came to St. Louis, when I got there in the trade, I'm thinking to myself, do I want to take the job, or, what am I going to do later on in my career?
They're the two of you.
McCarver, yeah, one of the best. Great friend. And that was at the 50-year reunion right there.
Boy, you both look so youthful. Interesting that they hadn't yet gotten beyond black and white photography, even in 2014.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and they had the 50-year reunion this year, Bob, in St. Louis this winter, and had a chance to go back for that, and enjoyed the ceremony and enjoyed everything that the Cardinals put together. It was great.
Well, I remember Ted Abernathy used to.
How about Quisenberry?
Oh, Dan Quisenberry,
yeah.
Great combination of the submarine delivery and all those off-speed pitches he threw. And now Manus throws the pickoff throw away, and Braun scoots to second. Score at E1.
Here's that pickoff attempt again by Seth Manus. Maybe. There it is. And wide of Matt Adams, and Braun winds up at second.
So the go-ahead run in scoring position with one out. Braun diving back in, and the throw is wide of the mark, and Adams can't stop it.
You know, Bob, talking about Pat Neshek and the likes, you know, if you saw those guys on an everyday basis where you could get used to them, get used to seeing where the ball is coming from down here, underneath sidearm, whatever, you have a lot better luck against those guys. But when you see them on an interim basis coming into a game, they're tough to hit because they're throwing from a different area. You're looking at a different area for a release point from a guy like Neshek.
Davis fouls it back. Here's another one I just thought of. Kent Tekulve.
Oh, yeah. Nasty.
For so many years effective with the world champion Pirates of 1979.
You betcha. You mentioned the guy Ted Abernathy. Ted Abernathy was a standard pitcher, Bob, when he first came up. And I saw him that way in the minor leagues. But after arm problems, he went down to the sidearm style delivery and submarine type delivery and became successful and pitched, you know, for a long time.
The 0-2 pitch, way high. You know, speaking of the 1964 Cardinals and the 50th reunion, a couple of booths over is one of your teammates from that ball club, the longtime Cardinal radio man, Mike Shannon, the Moon Man.
The Moon Man. Who
turns, it's unbelievable to me, 75 on Tuesday, on All-Star Tuesday. That'll make the seats. There he is. You know,
he's one of my best. He's one of my best friends.
What a beauty.
One of my best friends. Each and every time we go to St. Louis, Mike and I get a chance to go out and fish a little bit. It's on the street, so there's no fish.
Yeah, tough to catch.
We pretend, yeah, right across the street from the ballpark.
The 1-2, down and away. Swing and a miss.
Good changeup from Manus that time. You can see Davis way out in front of the pitch, and the head popping out of there, and good pitch. May have foul tipped it. I don't know if he did or not, but a strikeout anyway.
All right, so here's Logan Schaefer, who started some games over the past week in right field when Ryan Braun was sidelined by back spasms. And now the Cardinals are convening around the mound. And it looks like Peter Borges, the former Angel, will also come into the game as part of a double switch. So we'll sort it all out when we come back. We're with Bob Uecker in Milwaukee. What's better than that? Pat Neshek, surprise all-star, checks in, and his first pitch is lined over the leaping Adams, but it's a foul ball. So the pinch hitter Logan Schaefer jumps on the first pitch and very nearly burns Neshek, who has been all but untouchable of late. Good thing for Adams, he didn't get a glove on it.
Yep. Up in the air he goes to try and pull it down. That ball hooking, just foul for Logan Schaefer. Just back from Nashville. He was with the club earlier this year, Bob, and to get some at-bats and to get himself back hittable. He sent him to Nashville for a while. He's back now.
And that one floats in there for a strike. For the season, Neshek 3-0, 0.73. 36 strikeouts to 4 walks. He developed his throwing style when he was hit by a ball in the forearm in high school. Had to throw sidearm for a while. Couldn't pitch. Was playing shortstop, although you need an arm at shortstop, so I don't know how that figures. But anyway, couldn't throw over the shoulder, and he just stayed with what was at first a sidearm delivery, then became a submarine delivery. Still has a lump in his forearm where he was struck by the line drive, which turned out to be a nice turn of fate for him because he developed a style which brought him to the big leagues, and now at age 33 takes him to the All-Star game. Schaefer slaps one to the left side. This will be a long throw for Peralta. He won't even throw. He holds onto it. It's an infield single, and the Brewers have runners at first and third.
Here's Logan Schaefer taking that off-speed pitch down and away and slapping it toward the hole at short. And Peralta, no chance to make a play on Schaefer, who runs very well and picks up the infield single. The Brewers with a shot to get a run here.
Braun at third, Schaefer at first, and a strike to Segura. With the Cardinals double switching, Borges, the new center fielder, is in the 9th spot on the batting order and will hit third in the top of the 8th, and the pitcher spot becomes the number 6 spot, vacated by Craig, who made the last out in the top of this 7th inning. The 0-1 to Segura. Hit sharply but right at Peralta. Goes the short way for the force to Wong.
I'm enjoying this, Bobby, good being with you and all the gang here at Major League Baseball. Having a lot of fun tonight.
And Joe Block will just have to carry on by his lonesome.
Well, I got to
Brewers
get over
radio.
There. Yeah, I got to get over there. I got a pregame gift coming.
Something from the Sears catalog.
Ted Williams fishing line.
There's poor Joe.
Having a hoot of a time.
he knows we're talking about him. Will Smith becomes the 5th Brewer pitcher and faces John Jay as we move to the 8th. Very rough outing yesterday in an afternoon game against the Phillies for Smith. He pitched an inning and gave up 5 runs, and in the process his ERA went from 2.16 to 3.24.
Yeah, he had a problem locating yesterday, Bob. This guy throws good. It was a deal made with Kansas City for Norichika Aoki. And Will Smith coming to the crew and has been outstanding up until that outing yesterday. He had a tough outing in Cincinnati, gave up that home run to Jay Bruce to win the game, but this guy has really been good. 95 to 96 in the fastball department.
His 1-2 to Jay. Off the outside corner, and he did not go around. Laz Diaz says the at-bat continues.
Here it is one more time. The check swing by John Jay. Yep, he did.
This time they punch him out.
No check swing on that breaking ball from Will Smith. 83 miles per hour, struck him out looking.
Remember this, Uke? 1997 World Series, Cleveland against the Marlins.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe DiMaggio drops by the booth. Here it is.
Nice to see all 3 of you. Nice to see you, Robert. Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. What are we going to call you,
And that rather abruptly ends our visit with Joe DiMaggio, but what a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll find a spot for you.
That was so great. You know, he came in unannounced.
Man.
He just walked into the booth. I looked over my shoulder. Oh, my gosh, it's Joe DiMaggio.
And, you
know, Joe didn't usually like to be interviewed. Or for whatever reason, he was in the right mood, and he just sat down, and boom.
It was great. Yeah, it was great to have him there.
Tony Cruz is 0 for 2 with a walk.
And I forgot all about that. That was a great time that night.
I remember you said to him, you know, Joe, I could have broken your record, but I stopped short out of respect. And then I said to you, well, how many had you hit in consecutively? And you said, I don't know, 3. Which was probably your top career streak.
It was, yeah. I had a yellow one, too. Yeah, you're right. I didn't play that often. What do you want? Did you do any games that I played?
No. No.
I knew that.
Your last year was 1967.
Yes.
I was in high school.
Well, you
of course,
still did games.
I idolized you.
I know you did.
Yeah.
And it carries on.
Well, Smith, who had a rough outing yesterday, is sharp right off the bat here, striking out Jay and then Cruz.
Here's another breaking ball from Will Smith, down and in, tough pitch to handle, and he takes care of business again. Funny now, yesterday, tough outing for him against Philadelphia. Bad pitches, bad areas, and if he makes the right pitches, again, Bob, watching this guy work all year long, he's tough. He really is. Got good stuff.
Peter Borges' first at bat. Keith Costas working in the truck along with Elliot Kalb, and you're actually reunited with Mr. Stats, who was with us all those years that we did baseball in the 90s at NBC. Keith just told me a very interesting fact. I bet you didn't even know this. Borges hits one right back to Smith, who gloves it and throws him out. You actually had an 8-game hitting streak. That was your career best. But get this, it spanned 3 weeks. Even when you were hot, you couldn't stay in the lineup.
Don't touch me, I'm hot.
Sizzling.
I'm hot.
Reynolds, who came into the game a couple of innings ago, to lead it off in the bottom of the 8th. Brewers had a 6-0 lead after 2. The Cardinals have come all the way back. We've got a bit of business queued up from an appearance that you made on Saturday Night Live sometime in the 80s with a young Billy Crystal.
Yes.
Our mutual friend Dick Ebersol was producing Saturday Night Live then.
Sure was.
He and Lorne Michaels had started the show in the mid-1970s. Lorne's still going strong, masterminding that and so many other NBC programs. A little squibber foul. But Dick came back for a stretch of time in the 80s, and given your friendship, he invited you to be the guest host of SNL.
Yeah. Great time.
In one bit, Crystal played your son. I mean, the resemblance was unmistakable, so the audience bought it for sure.
Yeah, he played my son, and I was the manager of the Little League team, and he made an error that cost us the game.
And leads to what we're about to see after this at-bat is resolved. Nietzsche versus Reynolds, 2-2.
Billy's still going strong, too.
Oh, is he ever?
You're a good pal, right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I'll see Billy in a couple of weeks at Cooperstown. He's very close with Joe Torre.
Oh, yeah.
So he's coming up, he and his wife Janice, to be part of the celebration as Joe is honored, along with Tony La Russa and Bobby Cox. And, of course, Frank Thomas, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddux.
Big time at the Hall of Fame this year.
Bud Selig, longtime owner, then, of course, became the commissioner, grew up as a Braves fan.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I remember Bud Selig, my first year with the Braves. Bud Selig coming around and being in the clubhouse. A couple of players drove cars that Bud would let guys use during the season. Frank Torre and Don McMahon.
Yeah, he ran a car dealership.
Exactly.
Owned a car dealership.
Yep.
A rarity for Reynolds. He has the patience to take the walk. And now let's take a walk back to the mid-1980s. Here it is.
I keep my room clean.
Yeah.
And I get good grades.
Yeah, grades. Grades don't mean anything to me, you know? Catch the damn ball, huh? Huh? Look, your mother and I think it's best if, and for the team too, if you leave the house.
Where do I go? What do I do?
Well, you're going to be with the Martin family. We've optioned you.
Here's Gomez. And he's one of 4 Brewers selected for the All-Star team. Runs up as if to bunt and then does an offer at it. You might have noticed in that bit, Billy on the back of his Little League uniform wearing number 7, an obvious homage to his boyhood hero Mickey Mantle.
Absolutely.
And among the many, many wonderful things Billy has done, he directed the baseball film 61 about the Maris Mantle home run chase in 1961. that was very poignant. He did a wonderful job because he knew the material so well and felt it so deeply.
You know, and the other thing about Billy, he's a diehard baseball fan, man. He loves baseball. And I know he was with Joe Torre a lot at Yankee Stadium when Joe was there. Yeah, Billy, longtime friend. I know you're very friendly with him. And, you know.
Well, they let Billy take an at-bat to celebrate his 60th birthday in a spring training game.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, he struck out, but not before he hit a solid foul ball down the right field line. Gomez shows bunt, slams his bat down in disgust as he pops it foul into the glove of Adams. Another 0-2 pitch coming from Nechik to Jeanette, and he got him. .70 miles an hour. Looks tantalizing coming up there. Jeanette left shaking his head.
It gives you a lot of arm action. Look at the dip on that changeup, Bob, off the outside corner, and Jeanette went after it.
Now, Nechik will vary his arm angles. That wasn't as much of a submarine delivery as most of his pitches.
Yep. Yeah, if he gets down a little lower, it dives even more.
So here's Lucroy, 0 for 3 with a walk, and fouls one to the seats. This could be an all-star battery at some point during Tuesday night's game. We know Lucroy will start at catcher. And Mike Matheny will make an effort to get just about everybody in the game, including his own Pat Nechik. But for the moment, they're adversaries. And that one floats outside. Reynolds began the inning with a walk. He is still at first with 2 out. For the Cardinals in the 9th, top of the order, Carpenter, Wong, and Holliday. If anybody gets on, Matt Adams. From almost out of nowhere, Pat Nechik atop the leaderboard in a number of categories halfway through this season. Here is a high fly ball to center field, but Borges has it lined up. So Lucroy flies out to end the Brewer 8th. Here's the Brewers' 6th pitcher of the night, and it's their closer, Francisco Rodriguez. Tie game at home, you can use your closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the top of the 9th, and considering the fact that the Brewers have lost 9 of 10, they haven't had to call on Rodriguez to finish off many games. So he has made only 1 appearance since June 28th, and that was this past Tuesday against the Phillies. So I would think if they need him to pitch 2 innings tonight, he could. Carpenter pops it up, shallow center field. Gomez coming in, and coming over from left to make the catch is Chris Davis. Rodriguez is 3-2 for the year. 27 saves in 30 chances. 2 of those saves against the Cardinals in April. Among active relief pitchers, only Joe Nathan, now the Tigers, has more career saves than K-Rod. He has 359. Rodriguez 331. His all-star selection for this year is the 5th of his career. The first was 10 years ago, 2004. A lot of people thought he was just about washed up, and now he's rejuvenated.
Well, he's not the hard thrower that he was in those days that you're talking about, Bob, but he's got a great changeup, a good breaking ball. He throws in that 90, 91 range.
You know, when you see, and some guys just can't wean themselves off of it, you see a guy with a chaw.
Yep.
And that used to be so much a part of baseball. I can recall baseball cards as a kid, and Bill Mazeroski and others.
Oh, yeah.
And kids would wad up bubble gum, 10 pieces, so it would look like you had a chaw because it seemed cool. But in light of what we now know and the recent death of Tony Gwynn, such a great player and such a great person, Wong goes down swinging. You hope that this generation is the very last where we see guys dipping. It just isn't worth it. It's already been banned in the minor leagues, and teams no longer provide it in the clubhouse. But you can't stop a major league player from doing it if he wants to.
No, you can't, and you still see some guys that do. A lot of guys, you know, it looks like they're chewing tobacco. A lot of guys put a whole mouthful of, or a whole half a bag full of seeds in their mouth. Pumpkin seeds.
Holliday gets into one, drives it to deep left field. This one is gone. The 4th home run of the night for the Cardinals. And they have turned it completely around, leading 7-6, and it looked like that one landed in a group of Cardinal fans. There are more than a few red shirts and jerseys. A lot of Redbird boosters made the trip from St. Louis, and they are cheering Matt Holliday right now. His first home run in a month, just his 6th of the season, but it could cap a big night. 2 doubles earlier, and now the tie-breaking home run on the 9th. Two outs, top of the 9th, and Holliday just hammers one off Rodriguez.
That one up about thigh high, Bob, and he hit it, as you said, a line drive out of here in left field. And St. Louis 7-6 leading now after a 6-0 early Brewer lead.
So the Cardinals, who took 3 of 4 from the Pirates, if they can close this thing out in the bottom of the 9th, will move to within 1 of the Brew Crew, and the Brewers will have lost 10 of 11 and 6 in a row at home. Strike 2 to Adams. 1 for 4. The 1 was a home run. All 4 Cardinal homers tonight have been no doubters from the crack of the bat. Adams goes down swinging, but not before Holliday puts the Cardinals in front. Trevor Rosenthal trying to close it. The Brewers will send up guys who can do some damage: Ramirez, Braun, and Davis. Rosenthal has converted 27 of 31 save opportunities. His record is 1-4, and as you see, his ERA is around 3.5. So he has not been as dominant as he was a year ago when he helped take the Cardinals to the World Series. 1-2, and Ramirez didn't like it. It might have appeared low. Ramirez slams one into left center field. It drops for a hit. So the tying run is aboard. The winning run is at the plate. And since you are here, Mr. Baseball, and since it's my job to more or less be objective, but you know, if Braun touches one off, the appropriate call should be your call.
All right.
So you take it from here.
All right.
Let's switch roles.
I got you. All right. Braun in there now at 294. He's sitting on 11 home runs and 50 driven in.
Jeff Bianchi is the pinch runner for Ramirez.
Yep, for Ramirez. And the Crew with a shot here in the 9th inning. Rosenthal ready. Braun inside missing. 1 ball and no strikes. Braun has been bothered from time to time, Bob, by back spasms. Cut his swing down a little bit. He's had an injury to that right thumb of his from being jammed a couple of times. It's been problematic for him too. Rosenthal now. Here it is. Hit out of play by Ryan Braun.
You know, you look at a guy like Rosenthal, whose 4-seamer can approach 100 miles an hour, and not that many relievers will throw 4 different pitches. If you've got that kind of heater, maybe you have one other pitch, but he'll throw a curve, a change, a cutter, and the 4-seamer.
Yeah, this guy's got good stuff, Bob. And as you said a moment ago, not the numbers that he had a year ago, but a hard thrower. He's one of those guys, you know, you got to look for one pitch. I mean, you don't go up there looking for a couple of pitches against Rosenthal. Sitting 1-1. Here's the pitch to Braun. Big swing and a miss. There's a 96-mile-per-hour fastball you were talking about.
And Braun could not catch up with it.
Ball 1 and strike 2 on him. Represents the winning run. Ball one and strike two. Brewers on the hit column tonight. 12-11, trail by one. Rosenthal again. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Down low and inside. Braun a strikeout victim. One away here in the Brewers' ninth. One out. Cardinal infield playing back. Looking for a double play ground ball. Down low and away. He missed with that one. Where's your next assignment?
A week from tonight.
Where are you?
Dodgers at Cardinals with Tom Verducci. And I'm thinking if they each only throw an inning in the All-Star game, we could get Wainwright against Kershaw.
Nice.
Fingers crossed. Wainwright works here tomorrow against the rookie Jimmy Nelson, just up from Nashville.
Rosenthal again. Big swing and a miss by Chris Davis. Woo.
97.
97. Yep. He can run it up there. He reached triple digits a couple of times last year in games that I saw. Too high with the fastball that time at 98. Have you seen, Bob, in the last few years, so many guys that throw as hard as they do today? It's
the influx
really
of guys who you don't even remark about it anymore when someone hits 95, 96. A 90-mile-an-hour fastball used to be thought of as a superior fastball. Now it's average.
Big time. 2-1 delivery. In tight on Chris Davis. 3 balls and a strike on him now.
Davis narrowly missed a home run, settled for a 2 RBI double back in the first, and we actually flipped over to your radio call, whether you know it or not. And
I don't.
You started into get up, and well.
Yeah, it's off the wall. Yeah, sometimes on a ball hit like he did that first time, sinking liner into the left center field gap off the wall. The pitch. Check swing, strike. And it's full on Chris Davis now, 3-2.
If he's going to take Rosenthal deep, he'll be only the second guy all year to do it.
You know, he's got power, Bob, all over. He's got big power to right field, right center. And now Ron Renicky has just been ejected from this game. Arguing balls and strikes, and you can't do it. And he came out after the call on Ramirez earlier, and now the call on Chris Davis. And Ron Renicky is going to leave this game.
I know Ron Renicky fairly well. You know him very well. How much of this is calculated? His team is on the verge of losing for the 10th time in 11 tries, and maybe you just want to show some passion and fire.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. Normally, Ron Renicky, as you said, kind of reserved. You know, I mean, he gets his dander up every once in a while. And here with Chris Davis up there and Rosenthal, a couple of borderline pitches, and he's going to go out and talk things over, and you know what's going to happen. You can't do that.
So he's been tossed, and the count runs out full.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Chris Davis. Here it is. Struck him out swinging. 98 again from Rosenthal. Brewers down to their final shot now in Ricky Weeks.
And they are being managed, at least for one more at bat, by Jerry Narron, the bench coach.
You're right. Weeks in there as a pinch hitter now. Pair of home runs for Ricky.
Here's all the managing Narron can do for the moment. Go get him.
Exactly. Ricky Weeks, longtime Brewers second baseman here, and this season splitting time with Scooter Gennett. Low and away that time.
Weeks is 1 for 4 in his career against Rosenthal, but the one hit was a home run.
In St. Louis.
What's the chance, you follow this club every day, what's the chance that Bianchi takes off here?
I don't think so. As much as Renicky likes to run, and Tony Cruz, I talked about him earlier in the game, Bob. He's a pretty decent throwing catcher, and Bianchi is not a big-time runner. I mean, I got to give this guy a shot to hit. 1-0 pitch to Ricky. 2-0 now.
You know, I recall you remarking that when you were sent up to pinch hit in a situation much like this, you gazed into your dugout for some encouragement and noticed that your teammates were in their street clothes.
Yeah, they were all ready to go home. And one of them had my clothes out in the dugout. No shower that night. Just see you later.
You know, I've been to your house, and you still have some of those outrageous plaid jackets you used to wear on Johnny Carson and in the Miller Lite commercials.
Oh, man, that was something.
Why throw them away?
A long time ago.
They'll come back into style someday. Or else the Smithsonian will ask for them.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. 2 balls, no strikes. Weeks, the winner, if he can. Half swing and a foul back.
You know, they have Retro Fridays where they wear the throwback uniforms. Why don't you just show up on Friday for a home game in one of your Johnny Carson
I'm going to
outfits?
do it one night. I am. I've talked to the players about it. I haven't told them what I'm going to wear, but I'm going to do it one night. I'm going to wear one of those patch coat jackets or plaids or whatever they were.
Red pants.
That one I had in the Miller spot. I still have it.
Still fits.
They didn't let me. Get rid of that one.
Figured no one else would want it.
Pants
Why bother?
Pants don't fit. Jacket does. Ricky off the glove of Rosenthal, but right at Colton Wong, and this one is over.
Well, it would have been dramatic if you could have delivered your signature home run call.
Good being with you, pal.
But from a St. Louis perspective, this is a dramatic victory. Down 6-0. A team that's really struggled to score runs. They come all the way back and win it 7-6.
Yep. Tough game for the Crew here tonight, and a big series over the weekend, Bob, as Milwaukee tries to hang on to first place. But, you know, as we've talked many times, you know, this season, you know what's going to happen. You know, the Cardinals are going to be there. The Reds are going to be there. The Pirates are going to be there, and hopefully the Brewers too. So it's not surprising with the Cardinals playing. They took that series against the Pirates 3-1, and the Pirates hung a big one on them the last game 9-1. But I'm not surprised by the Cardinals at all. And again, we talked earlier about Giovanni and the problems that he's had with the Cardinals. 1-11 lifetime against
no
St. Louis.
decision tonight, but still he had a 6-0 lead and couldn't notch the victory. The Cardinals got homers from Adams, from Wong, from Peralta, and from Holiday. Nichik, headed for the All-Star game, gets the win. Rosenthal to save, and K-Rod is tagged with the loss as Holiday tags him for the 2-out homer in the top of the 9th that wins it for the Cardinals 7-6.
Good being with you, pal.
You know,
thanks to all your gang here, the Crew. Everything was great.
It was like it was 1995.
It was beautiful. Thanks a lot. Good being with you.
Great to see you, Mr.
Thank
Baseball.
you, pal. See you later.
And thanks to you folks for